What's up guys, it's MTGMatt for you, back with another video for Innistrad Crimson Vow. So Crimson Vow is finally here. Yesterday was the release and I started by playing Rakdos Vampires. So I didn't get too crazy, I just wanted to see, okay, how viable are our vampires now, right? And this deck that I want to present to you today, it went through a lot of iterations actually. And I ended up with this list, which I actually would like to adjust right here. Just cut a Blood Fountain, put in one more Epicure. And this is the list right here. So first of all, I'm gonna go through the deck with you guys. And after that, I'm also going to explain why I did not include certain cards. So, what's the idea of this deck? Well, we play Vampires, we play Rakdos Vampires, which of course has seen a lot of additions through Crimson Vow. And we try to be aggressive and close out the game with creatures. And this deck can be very aggressive, but it's also a little bit of mid-rangey. We have ways of grinding our opponent out. So how do we do that? Let's start by going through all the creatures first. So in the one-drop slot we got 4 copies of Voldaren Epicure, which is an excellent one-drop for a vampire deck. It's a 1-mana 1/1 in red. And when it enters the battlefield, it deals 1 damage to each opponent and you create a blood token. The blood token, of course, being this new mechanics for vampires basically, that gives an artifact where you can pay 1 mana, discard a card, sacrifice the blood token and draw a card. Which is really nice, I found out, for supporting other mechanics in a vampire deck, but also just it makes your deck really versatile against different kinds of matchups, because if you're, for example, against a control matchup, you might wanna, ditch creature removal to cycle through your deck and so forth. So I've been very surprised by how the nice blood tokens are to support your game plan. And Voldaren Epicure is real nice to start the game, deal some little damage and create a blood token right away. Also, the deal 1 damage to each opponent supports our Vampire Socialite, which is a card that was also already in Innistrad Midnight Hunt. Absolutely crucial for this deck. 2 mana 2/2 Vampire Noble with Menace. When it ETBs, if an opponent lost life this turn, put a 1 count on each other vampire you control. And then as long as an opponent lost life this turn, each other vampire you control enters the battlefield with an additional 1/1 counter on it. So very nice to drop creature, very relevant in that it got Menace itself, which makes it easier to swing in for damage to maybe activate a second Vampire Socialite you might have in hand. And there's nice synergy with Voldaren Epicure, because if you play an Epicure before a Socialite, you already dealt damage to your opponent this turn due to the 1 damage ping. And this way you can activate Socialite. Real nice, real useful creature. Then in 2-drop slot we got 4 copies of Bloodtithe Harvester. Also in Rakdos colors, new vampire from Crimson Vow, 2 mana 3/2. When it enters the battlefield you create another blood token. So again, real nice. And it's got this nice activate ability that you can sacrifice it and give target creature -X/-X on the end of turn, where X is twice the number of blood tokens you control. Unfortunately, activate only as a sorcery, but it's still really good because this guy already provides you with 1 blood token. So at minimum, if you activate it, it's gonna be -2/-2. But it's very easy for a deck to have like upwards of 3 blood tokens on the battlefield. So most of the time, this activate ability is really just sacrifice Bloodtithe Harvester, kill target creature, and it even goes for indestructible, right? If that's relevant. Also, it's just a 2 mana 3/2, very nice aggressive stats, can really get in for some damage. And now we get to the all-star, to the MVP of this deck, which is Volbaran Bloodcaster. I've been totally amazed by this card. It's really powerful and it's the reason this deck performs so well. So it's a 2 mana 2/1 flyer, which is already really good actually, right? Nice aggressive stats and has some evasion and flying. So what does it do? When it or another non-token creature you control dies, create a blood token. So this guy right here can fuel your blood token production. And this guy is also our main payoff for having a lot of blood tokens on the board, because whenever you create a blood token, if you control 5 or more blood token, transform Voldaren Bloodcaster. And then this 2-mana creature becomes a 3/3 flyer, but not only that, at the beginning of combat on your turn, up to 1 target blood token you control becomes a 2/2 black bat creature with flying and haste in addition to its other types. So this 2-mana creature becomes a 3/3 flyer that provides you with 2 flyers on top. And the important thing to note here is that those bats, they stay on the battlefield, they stay bats, right? This is not an until end of turn effect. This actually provides you with a 2 flyer every turn as long as you have a blood token to target, which is pretty easy with this deck. So Voldaren Bloodcaster, very powerful card, really gives you payoff for having a lot of blood tokens on the battlefield. Then, the last creature in this deck is 4 copies of Nighthawk Scavenger, which is a card from Zendikar Rising. It's a vampire rogue, and it's just a very good 3-drop creature. It's another flyer. You notice that between the Bloodcaster and Nighthawk Scavenger, we actually have 8 flyers in the deck, and the Bloodcaster can produce more flyers even. So this is actually a deck that often wins with this evasive ability. And Nighthawk Scavenger is just so good. Flying Death Touch Lifelink. Lifelink is very relevant if you're up against other creature-based decks, but also the Death Touch makes it so that this, for example, can trade with a Goldspan Dragon or any other flyer, right? It's really good. And of course, Nighthawk Scavenger's power is equal to 1 plus the number of card types among cards in your opponent's graveyards. Traditionally, you have seen this card in Rogue Mill decks, but it's not really necessary. As long as your opponent is playing Magic, on average this is going to be a 3-mana 3/3, which is perfectly fine as a Flying Death Touch Lifelinker, and can potentially grow even bigger, right? Can become a 4/3, 5/3. So it's just a really nice solid card, which we have a 4 of. So these are creatures in our deck, and my experience has been that these creatures are really enough to support our game plan fully. So what does the rest of the deck consist of? Let's go to 1-drop slot. We got 2 copies of Blood Fountain. It's a 1-mana artifact in black, and when as spell you create a blood token. Really the goal of our deck is to get to 5 blood tokens as fast as possible to transform our Voldaren Bloodcaster, because it's a big win condition. But then also, you can pay 4 and sack it to return up to 2 creature cards from your graveyard to your hand. Later in the game, this really just becomes 4 mana, sack it, draw 2 cards, right? Because we are a creature-based deck, we will have creatures in our graveyard, and this is just a great utility card for 1 mana. Really, I'm real pleased with how this card performed. Then, we got another secret MVP in this deck in Deadly Dispute, because initially I had some problems with drawing cards in this deck, and Deadly Dispute is perfect because we have all these blood tokens, and these blood tokens are artifacts, and Deadly Dispute says, as an additional cost to cast by sacrificing an artifact or a creature, so we can sacrifice blood tokens to this to draw 2 cards and create treasures. Deadly Dispute really makes this deck work really nice. And then, let's actually separate these cards from the rest. We have 7 cards in this deck that acts as a removal. 3 copies of Infernal Grass, just remove any creature. The losing 2 life is not that big of a deal because Nighthawk Scavenger can give us life back. And I found that this deck just had some problems with going over top if your opponent presents a really big creature. And Infernal Grass is just there to solve this problem. But what's more interesting is another card from Crimson Vow in Vampire's Vengeance, which is a 3-mana instant, which says Vampire's Vengeance deals 2 damage to each non-vampire creature, create a blood token. And we have 4 copies of this in here because my experience has been that this card is a game winner in certain matchups. For example, if you play against mono white, it can often happen that you come to a stale board state where neither your opponent nor you is attacking. But the thing is that mono white has better ways than our deck to scale in the form of, what's it called? Like the 2-mana cleric that puts the 1/1 counter on a creature each turn, right? Also, there have been a lot of like spirits flying around, like 1/1 flying spirits, and I like Vampire's Vengeance has been such an overperformer. It can in those matchups be in like a one-sided board wipe. Also, it's an instant. It can kill off all the birds from Oran's Epiphany, and on top of that, it creates a blood token. So this is an easy 4 of really an overperforming, really nice, powerful card. And lastly, we have 3 copies of Sorin the Mirthless, also pretty nice card. The Vampire token is really good, gives you a 2/3 flying lifelinker, right, which can of course also be buffed by Vampire Socialite, gives us life back, which we would lose through Infernal Grasp, for example. And up on top of that, then Sorin can just draw cards, or what's really nice about Sorin is he comes in with 4 loyalty, and creating the token costs 2 loyalty. So in certain situations, you can just -2 and next turn -2 again and get 2 tokens out of him. And it's perfectly fine. And then the +1 can draw your cards, which is really, really nice. Alright, so this is the deck. Let's go to the main base. We have the Dual Lands in Haunted Ridge and the Pathways. 4 copies of Voldaren Estate or Castle Dracula, if you will. It's a nice land, can also give you some color fixing, right? By paying 1 life to add 1 mana of any card, but spend this mana only to cast a vampire spell. And then you can also pay 5 to create a blood token. This ability costs 1 less to activate for each vampire you could control. So this can potentially cost 0 mana. And just helps you get to the 5 blood tokens to transform the Voldaren Bloodcaster. And finally we got 3 copies of Shadowskull Smashing. You can certainly have 4 copies of this in here, but I didn't want to use a Mythic Wildcard to craft the fourth copy. And then 4 copies of Aghanims Awakening, because as you can see, our creatures max out at 3 mana. So it's very easy to use Aghanims Awakening for like a total of 5 or 6 mana value and get 2 or 3 creatures out of this. And that's the deck. I've had a lot of fun playing it. Has been really a blast. I highly encourage you to try it out. And this introduction already has been pretty long. So just some last note before we go to the gameplay. I haven't included certain cards which I tried out, okay? I have tried out Anje, I have tried out Florian. And at the end of the day, my experience has been that you simply didn't need those cards, right? We have enough fuel in the form of Deadly Dispute and so forth. So this is the deck. Hope you guys enjoyed it. I'm really back now with videos. Last couple of months have been a bit stressful with moving and such, but now I'm settled, so expect more videos to come. Hope you guys enjoy the videos, and I see you guys soon. Alright. This is okay. Like, going second, I feel like the... What the hell? This Vampire's Vengeance is pretty good. Just attack. Okay. I'm just putting on a Socialite, and we use the remaining mana to just go through our deck here. Can probably just ditch a Vampire's Vengeance. The Infernal Grasp should be pretty good. Really? Interesting. In a way, that's actually kind of good for us. I can just double drop this, get more blood tokens, get 2 4/3s. Seems good. Opponent is at 5 mana still. I know he might use this new blue board wipe for 4 mana, right? He's just drawing cards, it's fine. Actually he might have Arn's Epiphany. Against Epiphany I just wanna hold on this Vampire's Vengeance. Right? Let's drop a Blood Fountain and the turn, and then if he drops the Epiphany we just kill his birds. Yeah. That's what I'm talking about. Now question is, do we wait for another Epiphany? I don't think so. Kill his birds, his innkeepers. There's a hall. Good that we have the grass. Shield trip, okay. We do want another land though, so we can pay for the ward cost of hall. Basic conjuration. Oh yes, there's all land. Sure. Okay, I assume he will want to cast those pest summonings. So let's just recast the Blood Type Harvester. Yeah, another Epiphany. This time I won't use the Vampire's Vengeance right away. He might cast Pest Summoning first. And we can just take 2 damage, it's not a big deal. Yeah, just so you get way more value. Cast the Vampire's Vengeance. Yeah, looking good. Yeah. Alright. This is okay. This is okay. go in with the Harvester. Oh, this is so nice. The reprint of Doom the Center and the art is amazing. This is so nice. Maybe just go for the big play here. Delete our opponent's whole board. Okay, Vampire's Vengeance actually insanely good. Wow. Let's think you go Epicure, Socialite. Give our Blood Type Harvester one encounter before combat. Right, this way you can get through Rakdos. Man, can I just say that Strixhaven was easily the worst expansion this year. I hated Strixhaven. And like till today, I don't think it offers much to the game. Like Strixhaven had Elite Spellbinder. Actually cycle something here. Let's play the land. Strixhaven has Elite Spellbinder, I guess. They have Magma Opus, it's pretty cool. I don't know. What else is Strixhaven? I don't know. It's a terrible expansion. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I could just kill Rakdos actually. I think that's a good idea. Let's just get rid of Rakdos and get in with the rest of the crew. Okay. Clever. Okay. Now we can attack, trade, play the Bloodcaster, play a Socialite. And this is a sick board, and if he wipes our board somehow, we got double Deadly Dispute with the Blood Tokens. Oh, nice. Welcome, Vampire. That's a great, great card. Let's see, maybe we find something interesting. Another Socialite, okay. Okay, I'm for sure getting rid of the Vampire. Get another blood token. Let's put the socialite down. Okay, I feel like we found a sweet spot for this deck. Kaya, okay.
If you want a job done right, hire the best. That was an easy job.
Adversary is kind of annoying. Should I ditch something here? Probably, no, probably not. Okay, do like the scavenger. But I'm looking for something like an infernal grasp or like the vengeance thingy. I should definitely just kill Kaya here. And then depending on whether he trades, you can put down Sorin. Yeah, yeah. That's fine.
I can't do everything.
Because now I put down Sorin.
No.
Make this a little bit more of a
I bring my own army.
grindy matchup, so to say. Speaking of which,
I bring order to this room. You deal with this annoyance.
okay. Yeah, I guess that makes sense in a way. Okay, now I want the vengeance. Vengeance instant. Should probably look for it. But I think it's just more efficient to keep those blood tokens. To sack those blood tokens. Okay, I think the Deadly Dispute was the addition this deck needed. We're taking another Saurian.
You wish to know my secrets? Very well.
Okay, let's go full hardcore socialite here. That's so good. Face. Oops. Kill Sorin. If I go double face, he has to block, right? Let's just kill Sorin. He's taking 4 damage. Man, this is pretty sick. Like this board with Sorin. Wow. Sack a creature. Sure. I'm getting a blood token though.
I won't let this be over. You fight for me now.
Okay, okay. So if I find this Vanguard spell, we just win the game. Let's try to find it. Yes! And we win. Oh man, this deck is so sick. It is actually so sick. Maybe with 4 Thorns would be really good. Oh yes. We're climbing, we're climbing.